Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Kai Sawatari, aka Sawatari some Magic Online. Can you guys hear us? I'm here with a crazy special guest, Jarvis Yu. This is absolutely mind-blowing, okay? I did not expect this to happen so quickly. I think we talked about it like last month or so, and now the boy's here. So, Jarvis, good to be how you doing? How you doing?
Doing great. It's a nice Thursday evening. I'm just chilling, and I had the day off, like I said. It's just as a federal holiday, so just taking it easy, and I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Can I quickly get a update from the chat? Is the audio alright? I think it is. It should be good. It should be good. Yeah, dude. I mean, audio's fine. Awesome. Okay, nice. You guys, there is a crazy time difference between the two of us. I think. Are we talking like what is it, like 13 hours or some crazy number like that?
Let me check what time is in Tokyo. I know in China it's between 11 and 13 hours off, and I have to imagine it's similar.
Yeah, it's
You're 14 hours ahead, I think, currently.
Yeah, dude, I'm from the future. That's what that's what I keep telling people. So, like if if I do well in the challenge, I should know first, No, I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, it should be like 13, 14. That's crazy. So, again, everyone, this is the MTG&LIFE podcast on Twitch. We've done this a couple of times with various guests in the past. It's always been a blast, and we are here to basically, just talk about like magic, but like also like non-magic related things. So you guys get like a better idea of who we are, what we do, also in our like private life, to some extent, and yeah, that's the also we got like shitload of questions this time from you all. So thank you so much. We're gonna hopefully cover everything today. I'm super excited, seriously. So, why don't we start with a short introduction? I don't think that you need a lot of introduction because like most people already know you. But again, like where can people reach you? And where do you normally play MTG? And what are your other hobbies? Just to get the everything started.
Yeah. Nowadays, I don't play that much paper Magic. I'm kind of hoping to change that within the next month or two. Obviously, COVID made things more difficult. Yeah, I'd still enjoy playing paper Magic. It's like the reason to play Magic for me. Magic Online is secondary to that. I sort of treated it as a testing tool for so long, and now during this pandemic, obviously, it's been only one of the major ways to play Magic. In terms of other hobbies nowadays, I think I've been trying to improve a lot of other aspects about myself, including, exercise, language, like my second language, Chinese, which my parents, I think, wish I was better at speaking, or my mom wish I was better at speaking, but, that's it's a tough road to approach. I picked up some chess, especially because of Queen's Gambit. I picked up some of their games like Team Fight Tactics, and, I kind of just enjoy trying to play games and trying to improve at them. Maybe I suck, and then, it's easy to improve a bunch, then I get tired of trying to improve.
I mean, chess is interesting, right? Like, I don't know. I think like because like you are a math person. I mean, like it's literally the first thing. Like if you go on your Twitter, it's like okay, everyone goes okay. Well, this guy knows about math. So I don't know how exactly math is connected to chess. Maybe a bit more than magic. Maybe so because you don't have like luck involved into chess.
It's a complicated question. That could be an entire podcast episode. I'll suffice it to say that while people good at math tend to be okay at chess, is by no means a mastery of chess, is how I would put it.
Right. Okay. That's sick. But you have been into games basically almost your whole life. Can we say that?
Yeah. I'll just give a quick explanation. When I was young, my father used to teach me games like Chinese chess and Go or Weiqi,
Mm.
which you might be familiar with
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Yep.
My dad would never let me win. He would basically just wait until I got good enough at any of those games to beat him, and then he's like, "Okay, we won't play anymore. It's not worth it."
Oh, sick. Okay, so he was like kind of like your senpai, your sensei then, huh?
Oh yeah, he taught me a lot of things.
Right.
Rest in peace, Dad. But he didn't really believe in taking it easy because like he's like, "What's the point? You're going to eventually have to overcome this hurdle later.
Right.
So like you're just wasting time."
Okay, so did your dad also teach did he teach you how to play lands in Legacy then? Is that also how that happened or
Okay, that one's a little bit more complicated. No, there are people in this area
Yeah.
who like first worked on the deck back then. My friend Kurt Spies III
Mhm.
in I think it was June 2013. He won Star City Games Open with that version of the deck, with the red green low curve gamble crop rotation deck. He was like the first one to actually innovate it and work on it, and he just crushed the tournament because we were like, "What the hell is going on here? Like,
Right.
this is not the old lands deck. This is like a super efficient, like hyper aggressive lands deck."
Right. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I want to say that most people know you because of Legacy Lands is as that's at least like how I like when I first saw your name. I think somewhere on it must have been one of your billions of GP top 8s, but like, I think most of them you have top 8 with Lands. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I had a few close finishes. I got like a 9th in Las Vegas with lands, and I got a top 15 with Jeskai Dig Blade when Dig Through Time was legal.
Oh shit. Okay.
If I can go through a bunch of them actually. GP San Antonio was a team unified modern GP. I was with Chris Piccola and the Bensec.
Oh nice.
We got fifth. Where it's a cut to top 4 in team
Right.
tournaments.
Yeah.
Normally.
Oh
So,
shit. Okay.
yeah. I was playing Abzan Company with Moira and Archangel of Thune combo in that
Oh nice.
one. So I actually think I have a pretty wide range of decks that I like to play. And it's kind of funny you bring up the lands thing. The only reason I played lands at that first tournament was Bob Huang told me that he thought it had the best expected value. I had that and Counterbalance Miracles with me because I thought Miracles was just kind of a degenerate deck in a lot of ways.
Right. Right. Okay. But was that 2015 when you actually won
Yeah.
the GP? Oh yeah. Because
Yeah.
like counter top miracles was a hell of a drug back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And funny that GP, I remember a bunch of stories. First off, I was rooming with Seth Manfield, who you might know
Oh yeah.
as one of he wanted to know what he should play in that format, and I told him you should just play Infect. It's so good with your skill set of you being able to figure out what people are going to do and how you can make them mess up. And it's more like a booster draft deck than a lot of the other decks. It just has a lot like it has a brainstorms and ponders and Gitaxian probes, so it plays broken cards too. But at the end, I think it does the thing that Seth can do best, which is make his opponent do something that allows Seth to kill the opponent. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like that's also like the biggest difference between like a pro and a non-pro is that pros usually don't make mistakes, right? Whereas like no, okay, well,
Okay, I actually I want to unpack that statement real quick because it's kind of complicated. Bob Huang and I once had a long discussion about whether you would rather take Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa with no legacy practice, or if you would take a legacy specialist, practicing every day.
right.
Who has better odds to top 8 a Grand Prix? Just like, Paulo's not allowed to practice. He's allowed to look at his deck and think about it, obviously, but he's not allowed to play a single match before. Or do you take, someone who just streams Legacy every day instead,
Right. I would probably pick Paulo Vitor. Okay,
I
I mean,
would,
like,
yeah.
like, didn't he top 8 a Legacy GP in 2014?
Yes.
Right in Paris,
Yes.
at Counter
Well,
Miracles.
So let me tell a few stories about that
Yeah.
one. Paulo didn't really test, but he's like, yeah, how hard it could be. It has Countertop, which I've played in Extended before. It has Brainstorm and Terminus, which are kind of broken cards. And, I think that's the type of deck that just rewards you for playing solid Magic. But there's obviously like a few weird things about the deck. Like, Okay, I don't think a lot of people knew this. The correct way to play against Abrupt Decay with top was you should put an activation on the stack in response, crack your fetch land.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if they decay the top, you can still draw. Then your fetch land resolves. Then you always still get to see top 3 cards. There are a lot of like weird, minute things that you wouldn't necessarily know unless if you actually like play the deck a little bit more instead of just theorizing. But those things you can learn pretty quickly. It's just the overall strategic goals. I think Paulo is going to be able to figure out a lot more quickly because he's played like 50,000 plus hours of Magic.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. I think like maybe you should give him like a couple of like those like super corner case scenarios where like situations like these with fetch lands. Yeah. Like if you give Paulo Vitor like a functional legacy deck and go like, hey, by the way, like if these 3-4 corner cases, if they happen, and they can happen maybe like once in 15 rounds, maybe just be prepared, and everything else he's gonna figure out anyway. So
yep, actually
that's crazy.
Just once more on Paulo, he actually almost top 8 Legacy GP back in 2007, which was my second GP ever, which was GP Columbus. This was infamously known as GP Flash.
Okay.
Where I was in Intense, I played Esperfish, but I should have just played Flash. Like, the joke was Flash was just so broken. And really, the version that won that Grand Prix had counterbalanced top in it because they just realized, okay, what's the best way to win the Flash Mirrors? Why don't we just counter top block all of our opponents?
Right. Okay, well, 2007, crazy. I did not play Legacy back then. That was crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. You know what? Why don't we jump over to the next section? We have a lot to cover today. Holy shit.
Yep.
So as last time, we do have a truth or false section. Okay, so for everyone, just a quick explanation what it is. We got 3 statements about Jarvis Yu, and we got 3 statements about Mikai Swatari, and at least one of them is correct, and at least one of them is wrong. Okay, and we gotta figure out what the wrong ones are. Okay. So I'm gonna read out all 3 about Jarvis, just like in one go, and then we're gonna go like one by one. Okay, so truth or false about Jarvis Yu. So Jarvis states Jarvis was in the news during elementary school. Jarvis was a C-rated fencer, and grades go from unrated to A. Jarvis registered what's that card? Moonglove Extract in a constructed Grand Prix. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm gonna be the one guessing here. Maybe Chet can help me. So let's start with the first one. So Jarvis was in the news during elementary school. So I wanna say it kind of depends. Like if Jarvis top 8'd his first Grand Prix during elementary school, then I would definitely say that he was on the news, probably like nationwide, worldwide. Dude, I mean, like being on the news during elementary school is such a hard achievement, because like who, like I mean, oh man, that's a tough question. I kind of wanna like if you were on the news, it would probably be something like you playing in your school chess team and like beating the shit out of everyone, like that kind of story maybe, or it was actually your first GB top 8 and you were like 7 years old like a sicko. So I would say that it is a true statement. Okay, can I get your answer?
It's true, and I'll give the full context. It was actually a local news TV station interviewing me on the quality of the cafeteria lunches.
Oh my god, that's cute though. That's cute. So what was your answer?
The food was edible, but not particularly good tasting.
I mean, did you say that? Like exactly like that?
I think probably I used different language back then because I was obviously like 7 or whatever,
Right. Okay. So, but you were honest, yeah. Like you didn't go like, hey, that's actually super sick, and I'd like to eat here every day, and like I prefer this to like literally everything else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You know, that's what most kids say, and that's because that's why the food sucks so much, because they don't think they have to improve. You know, it's gotta go like, oh wait, I guess the kids like it, so better keep it that way. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So second one is Jarvis was a C-rated fencer. So the school system in the States is a little bit different than in Europe or in Japan. I think in Europe you get like numbers as raised, like 1 to 6. 1 is the best, and like 1 is A, and 6 is something in the abyss, right? In Japan, Japan is it's 0 points to 100 points, and 100 points is literally like the best you can ever do. I think A rate is 100 to something like 92-ish points. And so C is kind of like, what is C like on a scale from like 1 to 10? Is C like, are we talking like 5, 6, 7, 4?
I'll clarify. This is for fencing. So the way you get grades is by doing well in tournaments. Actually, this is not like a grading system.
Oh.
You earn letter grades by participating in tournaments and doing well enough in them to rise up. That's why you start at U for unrated or unranked.
Oh.
So it goes like U, E, D, C, B, A, and then after that is like Olympic level, essentially.
Oh shit. Okay. Ooh. Well. So like, okay. So I would guess that's correct then. Yeah? That'd be my guess.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, that is false. I did not complete enough tournaments. I did not escape unranked or unrated because let me explain why.
Yeah.
A lot of the collegiate meets do not contribute to that. Only the individual meets where you don't compete as part of a college team do.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Damn. Okay. Yeah, like, okay, well, it was more like it was kind of like a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, right. It was literally 50-50 by
It was literally 50-50. Okay. And the last one is, god damn it, I gotta look this card up because this is a magic card. Yeah, so Jarvis registered Moon Glove. I gotta post this card name in the chat just real quick because I don't think that anyone has heard of this card in their life. So Jarvis registered Moon Glove Extract in a constructed Grand Prix. So constructed, so we're not talking limited, right? This is like either standard, modern, Pioneer, maybe like, you know, Legacy, like any of those.
Yeah, I'll give a spoiler. It was Lorwyn block constructed is the reason.
Lorwyn. Okay, so this can I? Okay, so it is a 3 mana. It is a 3 mana artifact.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's so bad. Holy shit. Okay, this card is so bad. Okay, so again, a 3 mana artifact, and you can sacrifice it, and then it is basically a shock. Okay, so it is of some sort like a poor pyretic spell bomb if you want, but you don't even have.
So I'll give you a hint. If I could find anything that resembled Pirate Spellbomb in that block, I would have also played it.
Yeah.
And the reason was, okay, there's this card called Stillman Cavalier. It's 1 white black, has protection from white, protection from black. If you're playing a mono white deck, it's very hard to remove that thing.
Wait, Joe, I haven't even said my answer just yet. Okay, so let me think for a second. Let me think for a second.
Oh, I see.
So it is basically a super bad removal spell, but it is colorless, and I know, like, I did play a little bit of Magic during Lorwyn, and I know for sure that block was like infested by creatures, right? Like, you know, elves and Kithkins and what do I know, like all sorts of stupid creature decks, right? So removal seemed absolutely like outstanding. And maybe it was a time when you should probably like pack an old removal like possible. And plus you can play it in any color deck, like you don't have to be like red or black. And like even in your mono green deck, for example, you can play removal like this. And again, like, I mean, I would barely touch this card even in limited. Maybe I would touch in a limited, but not in constructed. I would say given that Lobin was so dominated by creatures, I wanna say, yeah, you registered this card, but probably in your sideboard, and probably not as a 4 off, but maybe like as a 2 off or something like that.
Yeah,
that's my answer.
All right. All of that is correct. I did spoil it a little bit, and it's really because Eventide. So remember, Lorwyn block was bigger because there was Shadowmoor and Eventide, so it was actually a 4-set complete block. Right. And the Moon Cavalier has pro white, pro black. I was playing mono white Kithkin. It's really impossible to kill that creature unless you take unconventional means, like playing a really bad card. And I think I had like 2 or 3 copies of this card in my sideboard. Honestly, it still wasn't very good. I probably should have just taken the losses, just Moon Cavalier instead.
Okay. So when you boarded in this card, like the Moonglow extract, like it was sitting on the table until your opponent plays that Cavalier, and then you snipe it off, right? Almost always.
Well, if my opponent's at 2, I'm probably targeting them. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair. Fair. Oh my gosh! I did not know that this card existed. Yeah. Seriously, this is absolutely crazy. This is like some of those things I really like about Magic is like, I've been playing this game for like so long, and there's still like so many cards that I haven't seen in my life. Okay. Anyway, if you're playing Vintage, you can also turn this off Mishra's Workshop. So there's that.
Well, that's the joke. Any artifact that costs 3 and maybe is useful at any point has been played in shops, right?
Right. Anything. I guess there was probably like some sicko out there who actually played like a copy or 2 in their workshop deck. I can almost imagine. Yeah. Okay, so how many did I get right? Two out of 3.
Yep.
That's not too bad. That's like 60% win percentage.
It is 66%.
66, yes.
Well, hold on. By the Japanese grading scale, isn't that like a 3?
Okay, can we skip that part for a second? Okay, let's move over. Let's not even talk about it. Let's move over to the next half of Truth or False. It is about me. So we go 3 statements about Kai. Kai has all his decks triple sleeved. Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know what triple sleeved it is, literally what the name says. You put a card in a sleeve, and then you do it like 2 more times. Okay, so the cards are like super thick and extra protected. Kai played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kai registered Miracles at his first Legacy GP in 2013. Okay, why don't we kick things off with the first statement. Kai has all his decks triple sleeved, and like all his decks.
I wish I'd watched you play more paper events to assess the veracity of this statement. I'm going to say this is true, because one thing I actually do know about that I've seen, and that seems to be more true in Japanese culture, is people really oversleeve their decks over there. And there's one person in the US that has a quad-sleeved taking turn decks in Modern, but most other people in the US don't go that crazy.
Holy shit. Yeah. Like, wasn't there like a it must have been the Modern main event at GP Las Vegas, and there was like this dude who had like extra turns deck, I think, like mono blue or something like that, or like blue red, and his whole deck was like triple or quadro sleeved, and like it literally took him like I don't know, like 2-3 different like shuffle techniques to like go over his deck. It was crazy to watch, and that guy was on camera like 2-3 times.
So I know his name. His name is Daniel Wong, and his MTGO username is Time Walking on Sunshine.
Okay.
It's just so good, right? Like,
all right.
Anyways, tell me if I'm right.
Okay, so Kai has all his decks triple sleeved. First of all, I gotta say, yes, it is correct that not the majority, but like I've seen a lot of people in Japan triple sleeving the decks, but that's also because they have character sleeves, protecting their like anime sleeve. I think that like the regular size sleeve that they have like some sort of like anime character, like some what do I know, like something with a picture, right? And then they want to protect that sleeve to with like the third layer. I do not triple sleeve any of. I've triple sleeved a single card in my life, and then I thought
God.
it's like the worst thing you can ever do to your deck, because your deck seriously becomes like a Yorion deck no matter what you play. And B, you can't, like, you have so many layers that it's kind of hard to even like read the cards, right? Like the more layers you have, the harder it is for cards to read. And also back in the day, I used to collect foil cards a lot, and if you triple sleeve your deck, there's no way you can tell that the card is foil or not. So no, I was not one of those not one of those dudes like who triple sleeve their deck.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Kai played Yu-Gi-Oh.
I wish I knew more about the cultural influence of Yu-Gi-Oh on Japanese youth, I guess is how I would put it. I'm gonna guess yes, but I think it's a 50-50, really.
It is a 50-50. I also gotta add that when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, originally, I lived in Germany, in South Germany. So I'm
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, that's correct. I played Yu-Gi-Oh for about 7-8 months. Okay? Then I found out that the game kind of sucks, and I moved on. And I moved on. Plus, Jarvis, it is maybe like a bonus for us Asian people, because like, so Yu-Gi-Oh started in Germany. I must have been like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9 years old or so. And my grandma from Japan, she sent us like packages of like all sorts of things like snacks and blah blah blah. And then one day I was like, hey grandma, can you send me a pack of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like, because I really dig them. And then she sent me a pack over, and obviously all those cards are Japanese. I couldn't read them. My classmates couldn't read them, so I just came up with some random rules and go like, this card probably destroys like everything on your board, including you maybe, and this card is super expensive, and this gotta like, it's gonna like rip everything apart and things like that, right? And back in the day, and my friends were like, oh shit, is that really, man, Japanese cards are kind of crazy, right? And, that's how I fell in love with Yu-Gi-Oh. But again, I think the game, like, even for like an 8-9-year-old kid, the game became kind of like boring, and I quickly found out that you have to be kind of like one of those like rich kids to be good at this game, because like the most powerful cards are in fact the most expensive ones. And yeah, that I didn't like. I played a little bit of Pokemon afterwards, and then I quickly jumped to Magic, and I've been staying there like ever since. So it's good.
Nice.
Okay, and the last, true or false, Kai registered Miracles at his first Legacy GP in 2013. That is a GP Strasbourg in France, February 2013. What do you think? Did I register Miracles at my very first Legacy GP?
I'm gonna go with no and say you registered Rogue Stifle Delver.
Okay, you're right. I didn't, but I was about to. So just like a really real quickly. So I had my Miracles deck sleeved up. I bought a mode, an English mode, the week prior, and I was ready and set, And then I was my it was like 4 of us friends from we went to Strasbourg from Berlin. It was like a 7-8 hour train ride, and on that train ride my buddy showed me his dredge deck, and I was like, oh wow, like this deck is kind of unfair, like it's rather strong, right? And you get a lot of free wins. And he's like, yeah, well, yeah, kind of. And then I spent the rest of the train ride like reading all primers and like articles about dredge. And I registered Dredge at my first Legacy GP, and I went the classy 03 drop, because I even forgot a dredging. There were a couple of turns where I like simply drew a card, and it's like, oh holy shit, what the hell am I doing here? Like, and like all this, like this whole deck was like mismatched and like white border and like a couple of it was the most disgusting deck I've ever touched in my whole career. And again, it was a terrible experience. And I should have registered Miracles and probably also still go 03, but at least I played my mode, so. Okay, so you got 66% right. That's
That's not a good grade for any really education system until you get to like maybe like I don't know senior year like advanced mathematics courses, and it's still not a good grade. But then you also realize that everyone else is struggling with the problems that they put on exams too.
right. Okay, it's good. It's good. Okay. Dude. Oh man, we have so many more questions. Holy shit. Thank you so much for everyone who posted their questions on Twitter. We have a bunch of them, and let's start with a couple of easy ones. So we got a question from Panhango. Favorite food? You know, super quick, super easy. How about you?
The answer is Chinese style pan-fried dumplings. I think in Japanese they would call them I don't know how you pronounce it, but in Chinese it's jiaozi. In Japanese it's probably close to that pronunciation, but it's probably slightly different.
Wait, okay. Maybe okonomiyaki? No, that.
No. It's like Gyoza.
Oh, it's gyoza. Yes, gyoza.
Yeah.
Dude.
But in Chinese it's jiaozi, which is I think the origination of the term to begin with, anyways, because obviously those sort of predate. I think.
Nice.
You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite like filling? Can you even say?
Pork and chives usually. But I think the reason I would pick that is if I was forced to eat that every day, I would just put a different filling in it every day and be happy because I get to like, you know,
right.
you can put like shrimp inside of it. You can put like beef, you know, or chicken, you know, keep going.
Right. Garlic or non-garlic?
Both ways are good. I do like garlic, so you know.
Sick, yeah. Garlic for life. Sick. Okay, you know how we in Japan how we eat gyoza is that it's kind of like the side dish to ramen. Like whenever you order ramen, you have gyoza as a side dish because like they have like so different texture. You know you have this super warm like noodle soup kind of thing, and then you have those like super crisp gyoza. It's a delight. Seriously. That's a good answer. Yeah, that's also original from China, I suppose. Like, gyoza is not a Japanese thing, I think. It's not bad. Yeah, I would probably go. Well, now that you said gyoza, I will skip on gyoza and go yakitori. Yakitori is basically grilled chicken on a stick. Maybe you've seen it. It comes in like different shapes and whatever, but like it's really good. It's a real Japanese thing. Yakitori. It's like kind of like finger food, like you know, whenever you go to like a festival or like some street festival, something like that. You can always get them for like about like, you know, 50 cents, maybe like $1 or so. Like it can also be vegetarian if you want to. Really good. And also German schnitzel. Okay, I went to Germany last month, and dude, first of all, I gained a truckload of weight, but also I had so much meat. I don't think I've ever eaten this much meat in my life, seriously. And German schnitzel is like one of those like, man, absolute prime dishes you can get in Germany. Okay, so let's move over to we got a question from Alex McKinley from the Epic Storm. Okay, so he goes, worst deck you have built in your whole Magic career. And let's keep it like that. Okay, he has a second part, but let's go first of all, worst deck you have built in your whole Magic career. Jarvis, you go.
Is this a deck I have to have registered in a tournament?
No,
because
it can't be anything. You can go in.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm going to actually restrict it to that.
Sure.
Grand Prix Baltimore 2012, I played like a Birthing Pod hybridized Primeval Titan deck, and I think what I should have played was White Blue Delver with like all of the broken cantrips and Snapcaster Mages and whatever, and that would have been much better. And in fact, that is the deck that won that Grand Prix pretty easily.
Okay, I mean, Primeval Titan doesn't sound too bad though. Like if you if you
Well,
curve into it.
yeah, but it's just so much better to play Snapcaster Mage, Mana Leak, Ponder, Gataxian Probe, Vapor
Right.
Snag. So I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Like more like a tempo-ish build, right?
Yeah.
If you go
Hmm.
Vapor Snag. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, okay, I never registered this deck at an event, but I built it together with like a couple of like German buddies. We called the deck. This is a legacy deck, by the way. We called it Opposition Mentor. So Monastery
Okay.
Mentor came out in
Hmm.
what is it, like in Cons of Takia block, and like one of our first idea was, hey, that this Mentor card is kind of busted. What if we combine it with the card Opposition, so we can
Yep.
completely take care of the board, right? And so first we're gonna make like 10 monks, and then we're gonna start tapping down opponents' lands. And then a couple of days later, like we showed this deck to like a friend of mine, and he was like, yeah, but you can also like kill your opponent, right? And it's like,
Yep. Hmm.
yeah, but you can also like tap down all their lands. That's like more fun, right? I mean, it was bad. It was real bad, and we tried so hard to make opposition work. Like the deck had like I think 8 soul lands, like Ancient Tombs and like City of Traders.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was the absolute terrible. Also, like we had a couple of games where we had like 2 oppositions in play and no creatures. So there's that. The second half of the question from Alex McKinley. What's the worst list you have convinced someone else to play? So
Ooh.
that's a different animal.
Hold on. This is a really good question. Um, hmm. I would say I've managed to trick people into playing Primeval Titan more than they probably should have, including the deck I described. I think I've even bamboozled. I actually did bamboozle Reed into registering this once. And he actually won the tournament playing that in the standard portion, but playing like Punishing Fire Jund in modern and playing like Innistrad Draft in the third portion. So it was only like 1/3 of it, and it wasn't that bad. It just was not as good as the other options like White Blue Delver or whatever.
Right. Okay. And so you convinced them, yeah?
Yeah, I
And
mean, I basically said I think Primeval Titan's really good, and if you pod Primeval Titan to Elishnorn, a lot of the Delver decks can't win. That's literally what I said.
cool. But you didn't mention that you probably like half dead by then.
Oh, I mean, at that point I was winning so much on MTGO that I was just convinced the deck was broken.
Right.
But then you have to step back sometimes and just like reevaluate. I think.
Oh yeah, totally. Man, you and Primeval Titan, huh? That's like a love-hate relationship, I think.
It's mostly love. It's just that I think in standard sometimes it wasn't as good as the blue cards were back then.
Right. Right. Oh man, like I remember that in my legacy group we had I had a friend who played Enchantress, right, as their like first deck, but only with like 2 copies of Serra Sanctum. But it was still alright. It was still alright. The deck was like not bad against some of those control decks, terrible against combo, but it was alright. And then like one day, he went like, hey, I kind of want to have like a secondary deck which is like completely different and also like kind of strong. I kind of want to, like, I've never won a tournament with Enchantress and I kind of want to do better. Do you have like some some advice? And like I seriously went like, yeah, dude, you should probably play that Leyline deck in Legacy.
Why?
Like I was like, so like hear me out. So in my head I was thinking like, okay, well this guy, he already has Serra Sanctum, like not the full set, but he has 2 of them, right? He probably knows that you gotta play your ley lines before the game starts, so there's a little bit of like background knowledge there. And it's like, yeah, well, that kind of sounds logical to me, right? And then my friend, like he was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? And I was like, holy shit, okay, well, and then he actually showed up with this ley deck, and like I didn't even wanted to talk to him after the tournament, because like all he all I heard from like back from the same room was like, holy shit, I've never mulliganed this hard in my life. And obviously you do, because you only play like freaking 2 copies of Serra Sanctum. He said like after the tournament, he said the Serum Powder was by far the best card in his deck.
Makes sense. If I had been there, I would have just been like, this deck doesn't really work with only 2 Serra Sanctum, right?
Yeah, I mean like. I mean, you should have told me beforehand. Holy shit! But that was a series. Yeah, I seriously convinced my friend to play ley lines. What a freaking joke! Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thank you, Alex, for your questions. So this question is this is from oh, that's my own question actually. I just added another question. Yeah, I just because I was curious, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
my question goes: what's your least favorite card that got printed in the last year? And last year, let's go, man.
Well, let's just include the Fire era, right? Since War of the Spark till now.
That's cool. Okay.
Okay. I think my least favorite card printed during that era is Oko Thief of Crowns, because literally what it does to the game is it makes the game about Oko rather than anything else most of the time. You play this 4/4 that has abilities and has some attacks.
Right.
Oko's like, yeah, I don't care about any of that.
Originally.
You have a 3/3. You have another 3/3. You have another 3/3. Yeah, just all you got are 3/3s riding on top of 3/3s, riding on top of 3/3s. It's 3/3s all the way down.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Like, those games were like not particularly exciting, to be honest. Like, everything was kind of like solved, and also like, how like it was like you didn't really want to play anything on the board because it just got turned into 3/3. That's a good answer. So I think we can all agree that there were like a lot of questionable prints during the last couple of years. For me personally, the card, and this is like my opinion, might not be the most like, I don't know, like the I don't think that many people agree with my opinion, but I do think that Expressive Iteration is a card that I wish would not have been printed, because it sees way too much play in almost any format, be it Standard, Pioneer, Modern, I think too, and Legacy, and it almost doesn't matter which archetype, be it Delver, be it Midrange, be it Control, like everyone plays this card, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dig Through Time back in the day. It is not nearly as powerful, but it is super consistent, and you can also fire it off as soon as turn 2-3 if you want to. And if you want to draw 2 cards with a 2-mana spell, you're either gonna pay 2 life, in quotes Night's Whisper, or you gotta do some honest work, okay? And with honest work, I mean predict. Like, if you wanna get rewarded by like drawing 2 cards for 2 mana, yeah, you gotta do something, like it doesn't have to be like super like rock solid, like how do you say, like
super complicated.
It's super complicated, yeah. But again, like Expressive Iteration is like a little bit too easy to get too much value. So Expressive Iteration, and the problem with that card is also that it's not too powerful to get banned. I think that's the little bit of an issue I have with this card. But again, there are like so many more cards, and and this could go for like hours and hours. But Oko and Expressive Iterations are interesting names. I think most people can relate to Oko more than Expressive Iteration, but that's also why it's called your least favorite card. It doesn't have to be like, Okay, let's move on to... Oh, this is a question from Andrew Gordon. Okay, on Twitter. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the question. It goes, what match that was not a win-in or top 8 match do you remember the most? Man.
All right. I have a good answer for this.
Go ahead.
All right. So it's round 5.
Oops.
Hold on.
Jarvis, are you there? You back?
Yeah.
You're back, buddy.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. All right. It looks like I don't know what happened. All right. I'll continue with the story. It's round 16 of for Oath of the Gatewatch. My pairing is versus Ben Stark. It's
Mhm.
not open deck, but I had seen him playing at other tables, around because kind of when you get deep into a tournament, you see the people around you and you sort of notice what they're playing now and then. I'm playing Absan Lyra Company. It's a combo deck that has a sack outlet / Lyra plus Kitchen Finks that lets you gain infinite life. If you have a red cap, you can deal infinite damage. A bunch of weird creature combos in the deck. He's playing basically Mardu Jund. So imagine if you cut Tarmogoyf and played Lingering Soul as a Johnny Vengeant and Lightning Helix instead. So that was his deck. And the reason I remember this match so well is I win game 1 pretty easily. Game 2, I'm at 9 life. He has a Johnny. I'm in a really good position if I don't let myself get burnt out. But what happens is I let Ben resolve a Johnny targeting me, putting me to 6. Right. I cast Chord of Calling for X equals 3, and he just double bolts me, and I'm just like, well, if I just Chord for Calling for 3 with the Johnny minus on the stack, right, I could just go get Kitchen Finks, be at 2 after all of the burn spells resolve. And then in game 3, he casts Rest in Peace plus Damnation, and I lose. But I really shouldn't have been in that situation because of the game 2 scenario where I punted,
Oh yeah. Oh, so yeah. I mean, I guess you didn't put your opponent on 2 bolts, right?
Yeah, but I should have at least thought about it or considered it because it's kind of weird to minus a Johnny on not a creature, right?
Right. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, could have been assigned. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have also. I wonder. I mean, Johnny is sorcery speed, so yeah. I mean, I was thinking quickly, if you go double bolt first and then activate a Johnny, but that's probably that's too much. It's too much info.
No, it's definitely incorrect to do what he did, which was he minus a Johnny and just said go, and then when I put anything on a stack, he just showed me the 2 bolts, obviously.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Those kind of I don't know. Can we call them punts? Maybe
It's definitely a punt because I didn't consider if I had considered it and decided that it was okay to accept that, then it's fine. But I didn't even consider it, so it's definitely a punt.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. At least now you gotta pay a little more. Maybe in cube draft. I think that does a Johnny still exist in vintage cube. I hope so.
It does. It usually is in legacy powered level cubes as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I also got an interesting memory from 2015. That was GP Kyoto. It was legacy. Spoiler alert. I made top 8 in that GP, but it was an interesting round in day number 2. It was the first round in day 2. I was sitting at 8-1, and I got paired against Kentaro Yamamoto, Japanese Platinum Pro, super famous and so on. And I didn't know that the guy in front of me was Yamamoto. In fact, I didn't know any pro back then except Tomoharu Saito and Nakamura and Yuya Watanabe, because in 2015, that was the year when I moved to Japan from Germany. I spent 20 years in Germany, in Berlin, and also in Bavaria for 10 years each. Then I moved to Japan to start at Tokyo MTG and a local LGS. And I went to this legacy GP Kyoto. Okay, I didn't know any Japanese players really. And yeah, so Yamamoto Kentaro, he sat down. I didn't know who he was, and I saw, oh wow, okay, so he was wearing this Hareruya t-shirt, right? And my first thought was, wow, yeah, he's probably a Hareruya fan of some sort. He must really like Hareruya. That's cool. Maybe a regular customer or something like that. That's what I thought. And he played Mono Blue Omnitel, Dig Through Time Legal, crazy powerful deck. I played Ad Nauseam Tendrils. The round was over within 10 minutes. It was I think it was one of the quickest rounds in favor for the Storm deck. And so
nice.
I walk away 9-1, sick, okay, and then there was this huge crowd around our table, and it was not even table 1, it was table, I don't know, 20 or so. And I'm what's that all about, right? And I walk away from the table, and my buddies, they go holy shit, you just beat a platinum pro, and I'm like, oh wait, that dude? Like, what? And like, it was kind of like awkward. It was kind of awkward, but I think that the takeaway from this round is maybe it is sometimes better to not know that you're up against someone powerful. And like, imagine like if you don't know who Seth Manfield is, and then you play against him, and maybe eventually, you know, maybe you get a chance just because you're not that nervous.
Funny story is Seth grew up around here. He used to play all of the FNMs, and I used to duel him pretty regularly, and I'm just like, yeah, why is this kid so good? I keep losing, and then it turns out he's just really good, you know?
Right.
He's much younger than I am, but now by this point it's clear that, you know, he definitely understands something I don't. I'm not sure what it is, but I also know he is still a human being. So don't place your pros on pedestals. Just play against them to the best of your ability, and you know, you might not win as much as you want, but you can still win, you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Andrew, for that question. It was cool. Let's move over to a question from Mike Danielson. If you could, oh man, this is kind of like a deep question.
I know.
This is a super deep question. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Let's go. If you could know the answer to any one question, what would the question be? Okay, Jarvis, do you want to spend like an extra hour on this?
Not really. I'll give how do I put it? All right. I'll give a simple answer, and the question would be, how can I create infinite energy, or how can I create a professional motion machine?
Cool. Yeah. Infinite energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we can probably answer that question in probably about like 200 years from now. So if you're still alive, then please tune in, okay? Because we're gonna do the final answer on this Twitch stream in 2000 years. I was gonna like say like 200 years. Okay, so stay tuned. For me, I would probably, the biggest question I have is just quick and easy, the reserved list. That's all I want to know. You know, is the reserved list gonna stay as it is for the next like 5, 10, 20 years? Yes or no? Just really quick and easy, so that we at least, you know, that it's not gonna be like wrong, like false hopes or like something like that. Yo, I hope that the list gets like abolished, so that there's gonna be like more legacy, or like newer players. I'm not too worried about like cut prices and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's also kind of nonsense, to be honest. But like, at this point I mostly care about like new players for legacy. So yeah. Okay. Thanks. Let's move on to what's okay. So we got this covered like partially. What's your favorite foods? Follow up. What food could you eat every day? Okay, well, let's go with that. What food could you eat every day, every meal for the rest of your life without breaking a streak?
I answered that.
Yeah, you already said that. You said gyoza.
Yeah, you just put different fillings in. It's so, and you know, you can pan fry them. You can actually boil or steam them if necessary.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Oh, what do you prefer, like boiled or steamed?
I actually prefer pan fried, generally speaking. But
nice and crisp.
Yeah, but I think boiling or steaming for you is technically slightly more healthy because you don't use the fatty oil, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Maybe like, you know, once you get old, because like this is gonna go for the rest of your life, right? Like, you know, like, eventually you're gonna lose all your teeth. So, you know, it's good. It's good to have like, you know, some sort of like, you know, options available for like, you know, in 40, 50, 80 years. I would probably go with the one and only food I can truly imagine having for the rest of my life, which is miso soup. Seriously, guys, if you haven't tried miso soup, I mean, I guess that at this point, like, it's almost impossible, because like in almost any Japanese restaurant you can get miso soup. Miso soup is the absolute, I don't know how and why they do it, but you can have miso soup every single day. In fact, it is, I think, like, I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. or so, and first thing I did was I prepared some miso soup for like once we're done here, because it's, you can have it in the morning, evening. It really doesn't matter. And similar to gyoza, you can also put like all sorts of interesting things into your miso soup. It's also like also.
I have a question for you about. Do you think American-made Japanese miso soup how is it different from what you have over there?
Jarvis, I have never had miso soup in America.
Oh, so it's hard for you to tell, huh?
All like so on I think on my last stream or so, I told people to post their like favorite like sushi places or like sushi pictures, and dude, I saw a lot of dog shit. Holy shit! I was like, and I saw a lot like for example like Pokimoki, for example. He posted like a picture of like, holy shit, that would look so bad. It was like a pile of rice and with some weird nonsense, and then like shitload of like any like non-soya sauce, some weird sauce. And he said, yeah, I mean that plate is like $20, and like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna eat this for like $1, seriously. So my image, like I don't think very highly about American made Asian food.
Yeah, interesting you bring that up. I think generally speaking, there are two types of, I would say, Chinese food in the United States, and one is like the Americanized Chinese food, which is sort of what you're describing, and I don't really like myself. And the other is, well, you go into a hole in the wall, there's only like, mainland Chinese people in the restaurant, and they're all like shouting at the top of their lungs for the waiters or whatever, and you know that place is the real deal.
Oh yeah. Like whenever you go to a restaurant, it almost doesn't matter which country. Like if you go, for example, in Japan, if I go to a German restaurant and I see German people already queuing in line, that's the juice. That's the place to go. Yep. Seriously, same thing about anything. And the problem, like I think what we also messed up a couple of times, especially when you travel to like a GP or Pro Tour or something like that, is that you usually. Unfortunately, you go to those like tourist places, like they look really nice, but they are A, way too overpriced, and B, they don't taste like shit, but they taste kind of mediocre, really. Like you never go out like yeah, that was good. You go like, yeah, I mean I had a good talk or something like that. It's not that you had a super nice cuisine experience there.
So maybe I'm lucky, or maybe it's because people let me pick the restaurants. I try to avoid going to those chains or tourist traps. I look for places that have really good ratings of the food specifically, nice. And I don't really care about anything else. Like the place can look kind of ugly. I'm like, all right, whatever, that's fine.
Right. And usually it's those ugly places are usually the best, because like they're so good with food, like they actually don't care about the place, being like nice and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go over to the next question. That one is from Max Torsion. Thank you, Max. Everyone say hi to Max. Hopefully, what is the one thing you wish more people knew about you? You go ahead, Jarvis.
It's a really tough question to answer. I think the one thing I wish more people knew about me is that I really actually like teaching or trying to help people get better at things. And that's kind of why I stream / try to do coaching, although that's been hard to get enough people going. I always wanted to be a teacher. The problem is, being a teacher in the United States, they don't get paid nearly enough, so I didn't end up doing that. I also don't really like grading papers and like having to like point out all of the mistakes on a piece of paper in like red ink,
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean that's why I do the coachings, right? By the way, if you look down below, you can also see Jarvis Twitter and Twitch, and also the place where you can get your personal coaching. It's like one outlet.
Nice.
Yeah. If there's like one thing I could I wish more people knew about me, or like me as Japanese, is that freaking sushi is not from China and chop suey is not from Japan. Thank you.
Wait, chop suey is like an Americanized invention of a Cantonese dish, essentially, in San Francisco.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that people still think that sushi is from China and chop suey is from freaking Japan. Oh, I don't know. You gotta ask them.
So, like, wait, where are these people? I kind of am curious.
No, seriously though, like I'm. It's usually like, you know, whenever I meet new people, sometimes through Magic, sometimes in real life, and they go, hey, you know, where are you from? Because I don't look like a full German guy, but I also don't look like a full Japanese guy, right? Like, so wherever I go, I always say the question, hey, so where are you from, dude? And I go like, hey, Japan. And then, you know, I've heard it so many times where people go like, oh, that's, I had chop suey the other day. Oh, that's good for you, but that's not, that doesn't have any cool. And yeah, things like that. So once again, it's also because in Germany at least, a lot of those like Asian restaurants are kind of like combined, you know, like Chinese restaurant, which they also serve sushi, and then the Japanese restaurants, they also serve like chop suey maybe every now and then. It is kind of awkward.
So I checked Wikipedia real quick.
Yeah.
It's claimed that chop suey was invented by Chinese American cooks working on the Transcontinental Railroad in the 19th century.
Oh, nice.
So like you need something you can cook quickly because they're always working on the railroad, and it has to be like pretty filling because that's hard work.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Okay. See, like I oh man. Because I thought that this is like a purely like Chinese thing, but you know, even I was wrong. So there is that. we got a quick one from Marcus Ewald. a question. Okay? I'm gonna read it out loud. What are the odds? That's the question. What are the odds, Jarvis?
All right, I'm gonna answer Marcus in the only way I know how. The odds are good. But are the goods odd?
Ooh, nice. Okay. I would say that the odds are. What are the odds? The odds are always in our favor.
Oh, may they always be in your favor, to quote the Hunger Games.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Marcus. I kind of dig those, like, you know, short and crisp questions. I kind of dig them. Right. You know, yeah, you don't have to go like super serious about question. You know, what are the odds? That's a good question. Oh, nice. Okay, so now we got the Everyday Eternal podcast host special. Okay, we got questions from both. We got questions from both Julian and Callum Smith. Holy shit, Julian! Hey, so everyone say hi to Julian. He's in the chat right now. And to Callum, if you're watching this, then well, you know, that's kind of like what you deserve. Callum sent in 3 different questions. Holy shit! I've never seen someone sending like so many questions at once. But again, this is the Everyday Eternals special, everyone. So let's go start with Julian's question. This question is for you, Jarvis. I can't even answer that.
Oh god,
If you were hired to kidnap Kai, where and how would you do it? You go ahead.
All right, I think I've come up with an answer. All right, I would find a foil German brainstorm from Mercadian Masks. It's, I believe, called Gedankenwirbel.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
And
I would put it under in a trap room and lead you to the trap room. Wait for you to go in there and pick it up and slam the doors on you and drive you off in a truck. And I would drive you off to the place where you're being kidnapped to.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, brainstorm. It could have been also like any dark ritual, by the way, or any days could have been an option. And I mean, you're lucky that there's no German foil doomsday just yet, but you know, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think like that could actually happen in the past. If someone tried it, it would have worked. It's good, Julian. Thank you so much. Now let's move over to his co-host, Callum Smith. Okay, Callum, how you doing? What's your favorite Magic memory? you can give multiple answers from different periods in your MTG career. Okay, so this one is, wow, this is kind of wide. Again, favorite Magic memory, it doesn't have to be like a game or anything. It cannot be anything connected to Magic. So you got something?
Yeah, I have quite a few. Just tell me when I should stop, I guess. But I'll give the first one, which is probably the most obvious, which is the Grand Prix win in Seattle 2015. Actually, that top 8 felt so easy in comparison to almost any other top 8 I played. It felt even easier than a lot of the PTQ top 8s I played, frankly, because I think the deck was so well positioned for the matchups I had back then. And really, Christian Calcano, my finals opponent in that Grand Prix, he's a good friend of mine. We've played a lot in PTQs and Grand Prix over the years. Nice. So it felt pretty good to get there and, you know, obviously kind of crush him because the matchup was really good. So that was a good memory for me, obviously. Other good memories involve usually my teammates from Mass Drop East or East West Bowl, depending on which amalgamation you want to put about it. Like Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch, we formed like kind of a small ball but bigger sort of super team, and I think 4 people from that team made top 8 of that tournament, which is quite a lot. Right. And 2 of them was, or no, it was 3. It was 2 of them were playing Blue Red Eldrazi, which I don't know if you remember back then. That was kind of the breakout deck for that tournament. Yep. One person was playing Affinity. But really, they all said that the limited seminar we had probably helped them a lot, which was we just broke down basically every card in the format, all of the draft archetypes in like a 3-hour draft session right before the PT. So
wow. Crazy.
That Pro Tour is pretty special to me. And, you know, getting to play Pro Tour 25, even though I played Blackguard Reanimator, obviously one of the more special GPs or PTs, because I got to play with Ari Lax and Mark Jacobson, and we didn't do great. You know, sometimes that happens, but, you know, I wouldn't trade those, you know, team tournaments or team testing, you know, sessions for anything in the world, and kind of regret that Wizards organized play doesn't allow for that sort of stuff, or doesn't seem to have it in the pipeline anytime soon. So those are a few that I remember that are pretty good. Obviously, any time you do well in a tournament, you're going to have good memories of it. And sometimes when you don't do well in tournaments and you still have a good time, those are really the times to cherish as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of want to stress on the last part you said, is that, like, you know, you don't have to do well to have a good experience in Magic. Because especially at a GP, like imagine if you go to a GP with, let's say, like 10 friends or so, you know, how many of them can, you know, actually like money finish or something like that? You know, it's probably like 1 out of 10, maybe, right? Maybe 2, or I mean, it kind of depends on, like, you know, what who your friends are, I guess. But it is also like what I like the most is like kind of like the get together afterwards. You know, if you go to like a nice place, you know, to get some drinks and things like that. You know, get to like connect with people, and like people you only see on Twitter usually. You know, if you can actually meet up, and you know, that sort of thing. That's cool. Yeah, I guess you have a lot of that, and during Pro Tours too, because things get like really intense.
Yeah, is usually Sunday is the day that where people are free to hang out and just draft and just like shoot the shit, talk, get a nice meal or two, because that's the Sunday where only people who are playing are the people who made top 8, and obviously they're really happy. You know, everyone else gets to hang out and like do some booster drafts of the formats. You know, that's always been a really good time.
That's cool. Yeah, man, I really dig those times. I kind of wish that they come back eventually. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of also like go on with those like Grand Prix stories and things like that. Let me maybe like my like currently one of my favorite Magic memories is that I really do appreciate your guys' appreciation for my stream during the last couple of months. I did not plan to stream Magic or art in general, and until some of my Magic friends, like, they convinced me that they went like, you know, dude, you really got to do it, and I started streaming like a couple of months ago, and it's been great. Thank you. And that's like my main outlet now to somehow feel that I'm still, you know, like in a paper tournament of some sort, because, you know, you can still talk to people and connect, and that's all cool. So thank you everyone for for your support, really. And even when once paper events come back, I will still continue streaming. I mean, you also stream, Jarvis, right? And it's like streaming and having, like, you know, tons of people in your chat. That's kind of cool, no?
Yeah. To talk about the streaming aspect a little bit, I've kind of realized that I don't have the time to grow as much as people who can afford to stream 8 hours a day for like 5 days a week. I sort of accept that. Obviously, I kind of wish I did have the time to do it, but it's kind of difficult when you already have a 9 to 5 job, and then how many hours do you really have energy for after that? Like, it's certainly not 8 hours, you know?
Right. Right. Okay, dude, oh man, Callum Smith has like so many questions still left. Callum's second question is, what do you think your life would be like without MTG?
So, I saw him write this question, and I thought about it for a little bit. I think it would be really difficult to assess. I think what would likely happen to me is I would have found another competitive outlet instead, whether it be chess, Warcraft 3, maybe even like Dota or League of Legends or something like that. I would have just played a lot of that instead and tried to get really good, to be quite fair. But I obviously would have so many fewer friendships, like IRL in real life friendships, or, you know, stuff like that. It's really hard for me to imagine, I guess, is how I would put it.
Right. Okay, but it would be some kind of game then, Yen. Like
yeah. So to clarify the fencing thing, I actually did fence like for the college and for like, you know, collegiate stuff, but we were only a club. We weren't like what were the top fencing whatever the top fencing schools were, we weren't really at that level, obviously, but, you know, it was something to do. It kept me in shape, and I kind of like trying to get better and better at it.
right.
Yeah, so that's probably what it ended up.
Yeah.
Oh, Joanne asked me who was my favorite Warcraft 3 player. It would have been either Grubby or Control Alt Delete back in those days.
Oh, nice. We got a new phone. Yeah, okay. It kind of goes like all the way back to your like
Denzel Moon.
Relationship, you and your dad, and he taught you how to get better at games and things like that, right? What kind of like started to hook you up on games? Yeah. I kind of agree with Jarvis. I would probably play another game. So I was like back in the day when I was like 11, 12 or so, there was like 2-3 years when I played a lot of Warhammer. I don't know if everyone is familiar with that game, but it's basically like it's kind of like if it's not chess exactly, but it's like a war game with like a lot of like dice, a rule book, and so on. You're gonna paint your figures. It's not. It kind of goes in the same direction as chess, I want to say. But it is another like social game you play with your friends, and you have a lot of communication. It's a lot of like, you know, having fun, chilling out, and you know, spending like a whole afternoon like just, you know, talking and figuring out like what the best plans are, and like strategics and things like that. So I'll probably play more Warhammer or play more music, because I've been playing the violin for almost 20 years now. I haven't played as much lately, but it would definitely, like, if there was no Magic the Gathering, I would probably start playing in bands again, in like ensembles and things like that. So yeah. Okay, and the last question from Callum is super short and easy. What's your favorite arrangement of the letters X and D?
Capital X, lowercase d.
Capital X, lowercase d. Okay. I'll go lowercase x, capital D. That's kind of it's kind of weird. Okay. Thanks, Callum, and thanks Everyday Eternal for your questions. Awesome. And the last question, I don't know if this was did someone I'm missing the name here, but we got also a question. Also again, quick and simple. when did we start playing Magic? Just if you can go like the year and maybe the block, which set came out, that sort of deal.
All right, so I actually have two starting points. I would say the first time I purchased a Magic product was I bought a bunch of like revised product back. I think that's probably 1997, maybe 1996. I didn't really play a sanctioned match of Magic until Onslaught came out, which is 2002 or 2003, depending on when.
Right.
And that was like a booster draft in a local game store. And since that point, I dove into the competitive scene probably starting around 2005, seriously speaking. And then I haven't really stopped since then, except now I'm kind of in like a weird like, well, what is organized play? What is competition now? You know, sort of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of people see usually take the first tournament, the first event, they join as the starting point, but there's like so much more before that. I think I picked up the first cards in 2001, so you were already in business, right? 2001.
Sort of.
Yeah. And like shortly later, I think it was like still course at the 6th edition, I think, was still out. And then the first product I bought was the 7th edition starter set. That ridiculous set with like even had like a PC game in it. I don't know if you remember, like it was like, and my PC was too crappy to even play that PC game. You know, that PC game was, I want to say like on the lower end, but my Windows, I don't even know, it was probably not XP. It was probably like some weird Windows 98 or something like that. I couldn't run it. And it had a sick ass looking Thorn Elemental 7th edition foil, a badass artwork, I think by RK Post maybe. It looked absolutely crazy, and also like, you know, like, I mean, it said 7/7, so I thought, like, back in the day, I thought that's like the most powerful thing you can ever do in Magic. So casting a 7-mana 7/7. Yeah, nice. I hope we didn't miss any of those questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Man, that's good. What are your plans for today anyway, Jarvis?
What are my plans for today?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I should go to sleep in a few hours, probably like in 3 to 4 hours from now. Might watch some Netflix or something, I'm not sure. Might play a different game by myself not on stream, maybe like some TFT or something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Nice.
not sure. How about you?
Have you already watched Squid Game?
Oh yeah, I actually, the way my Netflix is set up, it auto recommended it to me before anyone started posting, so I just watched through it. I'm like, holy shit, this rules! Like, and then like a week later, everyone started tweeting about it. I'm like, my Netflix just knew that I like it.
Oh, totally, yeah. We got a question on the fly. Are hot dog sandwiches? No. I wanna say no. Hot dogs are hot dogs, and sandwiches are sandwiches.
I'll go with, it depends on how you define a sandwich, but I would also go with no, generally speaking.
Sure. I mean, if you make a hot dog and you make it like real flat because you like kind of like stomp on it, then it might look like a sandwich. Yes, maybe. Okay. Well, it is currently 9 a.m. here. I'm gonna make breakfast in just a second. I already cooked rice. I prepped my miso soup, so I'm kind of like set and go. Probably gonna go to the gym afterwards, and yeah, and probably also like alter a couple of cards. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Jarvis, check out his Twitter and Twitch. Twitter, maybe you wanna say it yourself?
Yeah, my Twitter, JKYU06. Slight typo there, but no big deal. Twitch, twitch.tv/Jarvis Yu. You can find me on Metafy, and you can also find me on YouTube. I kind of forgot to mention that to Kai, but also at Jarvis Yu. And hope to see you all in my stream somewhat soon.
Sick. Okay. Well, It is at Sawatarix on Twitter, Sawatari Doodles on Instagram, and Sawatarix on YouTube. You can also check out my homepage. It's right over there in the corner, sawataridoodles.com. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. We're gonna be doing this more in the future. I have already talked to a couple of people. I'm super excited about all this. It's got maybe we can get like another episode within this year, and then let's see what happens in 2022. So then, thank you so much everyone for joining. And it was Jarvis and me, Kai, bringing you the legacy hype, but also like, you know, there's a lot of interesting talk about other topics. I thought you had a good time.
Yep.
Cool. And so yeah, everyone keep it sleazy, and till next time. Bye.
See you all.